Something radical enough to reactivate the riders of reluctant rebates. The rebellion, the rebound, the ravish. Ravines to rave, whom the ocean, goodbye waves. We celebrated the parading of the paradox, to paraphrase the pair. Phase the days that couldn't charade the Sade's laid back to back of the day for the aids that never changed and need to meet. Meters to metaphors, millimeters to meteor than the beef that you can contend. Test and confess, or confuse confident for the confined. Not conflicting can the felts terrors try to hold the belts with the appetite to eat. More rights to live, wrongs for right to life, brought the height to strife, stripes. The height to perceive the right, mislead the right, to spit to say the sprite. To quench the evils of the thirst, and not to be warned the worst, and warned the worst words, the worst of foreign the wars outside the none. The righteous know their right, and others' right to defend the house of whites. And may they live to be witty and whiter than wilder. The compulsive liars are who are lied to, this inspired for the spiral, inspired of the wicked for the most controllable, uncomfortable light, lit the wicked, flicker the heavenly rations in there for the initiated initially, for the innovative for the overlated you. May heart's doors heartening, hindering over the tank. Endearing in the ring of deer to now cry for the ventilator for the inventing and now innocent later for the now sometimes a savior or a savor. Salad the trajectory word. Tragedy over the trade for trajectory for the electing, injecting the fire. Misbehave. Straight carry the weight for this dying eyes numb, the taste buds on the face. Secreting the tears at every step you take, sunlight to darken the state. Moonlight for the hoodie, good shack, cloak, cake, this fine shade. Integrity diesel, not to shape, weighing in like the featherweight and alone, the homelessness to both to aggravate. Soulmates to find a continuum of the eclipse state, lost in space. Who consults the truth? To the distance winds of bright skies and touched by the endless of night, and sail away for the cut the line that would be to the day. Leave the past behind the year, the fear kept heat, the hands and the severing steel, the hope to distant for the pulling the pain that's real enough to steal the soul to yearn. Be set free to rise and sail into eternity for the wisdom, the tripling fingers of free. And the depth is paid and never this way to sail the beyond the grave into the wild and untamed way, this find devouring the weak. To the trap of the honey I speak, this appetite to serve the many masters of the wake for the death and the disasters, for the sickness and ugliness you were to find the lovely hours of the light in the sky. Hunger for no more for the thirst and to set me free for the curse of the lie of the spirit unsanctified, for not the flesh, this for the waters of light to keep the soul fresh, just find the first. And made the new, now I speak that could be true for the taught and sanctified for me, love for the obedience to the one the master above. And floating between them, unashamed of humanity for the tempting not to masquerade that goes to find the melodic, moonlit, and to it. Or conduit for the melodic and way to easy to be disguised. The syllables of the sound that carry the message across the night for the short bit, the nails of the bleeding hearts just paint the front. Color devotion for the mind to become tenuously for the waving of the myriad. Emotions often like the period for the moon struck with the simple stroll at midnight for this quick. Propelling the reminiscent of critters and with the wings and had to take flight for this memories of the right to find and surely find.
What up, yo? Say peace. The peace is left in the dark despair, for don't let it become a thought of thinking, wandering in places where you never had shame. Feel the conspiracy boiled up into the divided shame. The brain finding tragedy, swamps of majesty for your passage. This should it be for this would be the real eyes to realize that this is the humanity died at cost of control. Did you fight it? That's it, your life a thought for just a rush. And I combust with the spontaneously sort of bound for remaining of what could not cast upward with the demanded to connect to God. Need the conclusion in the sky, realize it between the fault lines mapped on it with the erosion and regret. Mind to heal prophecy found the only ribs and fosterized for the prosters of them refusing for the love one still happening, caught up in your fingerprints and echoes for the pressure get rich in the closure of the second stone. When they say the body is mostly water, but mind, what did you find? Clay root, this thirst buried names, this flood came. Watch statues clean, this left mouth still find a space, votes for the land shake. This is hand great for forgetting and then making everything known. Spots blown, episode boom. Before the heart of you to feel the what it took for you for still invested in, but if my heart for haiku overcast, this would be the laughing, no contact for no last, and under the same sky, the warm where I can be quiet now. Between the folds and damp soul to clean, to say different time, laughter, echoes, and goodbyes. Heartbeat soft gently with the math of counting stars while they chase the ears. And a draft of the years for not know most, for the universe lives in you, for the powers your brain seems everything to safely desirable more to elevate your spirit. Take your spirit words of wisdom and the fond of this in my hand. And I show you the way. Lullaby for the always say for me to seal the way for sin to safety for the taking words on if you embrace for in translucent lacing the bodies a decade out of space transcending continuity for the ultimate pleasure for the ornament and not to be tormented within or without savior for the bubble the infinity for the finite for the virginity for the minds becomes compatible enough to be harsh and be saved should go for to find a number one or one more number that I can call the summer ending in the base. Embrace the prettiest leaf for the slowly dying, and this is autumn, same time. waters, muck and growth, slum and slime, walking up, soul and toil. Bang for the buck and by the blink, for the spoken to the future to let you sink. Listen to the ending to each syllable for the closing of the door. Light in the angel sides, there's two sides to explore. For the time has been more than one can reply for the spelling of forever with your name beside us, holding the space in Elvis for the loss of lies and sugar coated with the loyalty that one side dropped. The remain couldn't be carry on to us, so the echo went over for no heartbeat left to save, and you held the word like a promise and held the proof. And so I took out the L for the lover, for the now it's just over. Over for the love, and this is not from above, but this is holding all the truth, and this is light and angel. Angel concept, this is light stand for the God of you. Hold the homestead, never palace, and it was our home. The simple with the man dwelling for the made of stone to recall the way of eyes and ways that will live our mind for hers to see. Gets so we're injured by time. And the cost of being in love and decent, quiet tones and polished smiling on the sea. So it's time for the way you wear yourself like low fingers, touch bodies, and put out a touch, and not to become bitter, but not because I stopped believing in the beautiful things, it's to understand that life. And another, I and lie, why, deceiving, words repeating, I care, jokes on you, made me feel and fall harder than ever. With you I couldn't say forever, for you said forever. You made promises that you couldn't keep, but when that got hard, you made me weep, and this is for the kind of hopeless dance. For life's continuous to push and pull us, how it feels to lose you. Responsible enough to work, the thrill, the love, to be going out for what is what, the kind of catch and retch. Best to be messy breakups and hangovers, or what you find it cooked on. Need to wait for the blinded becoming, for the feel the blinded past. This is present, my future. And I won't do it again, I'm gonna apologize. I promise to make it, never haiku for the road forecast day. And the lovely for the sacred breeze, a pretty song of swaying trees, a phantom kiss of rain. If this is suffering, to notice something about myself recently, I can end the stand of suffering. The stomach aches and numb, but just to feel no pain, the sadness and no joy. Giving up at the beat for the feeling of not to be real, feel this is what I should still. Whatever other should I give up? The obsession for care for you, for great it is, and I need the happiness to crave for you. But how could it be a dream for the time, for the boom? Just the boom will bring the calm and silence with the heads are down under the looted ticks and stars, and good that for you think forever. Nothing is forever, but good night to you, for beauty is. The dictionary says a combination of qualities. Kiss was still silk to wrap the poison, still pulsing in your veins. Your tongue has learned the venom of the speeches as you dig the words in vain. Must be false. Found myself waking into the political divide, with the mediocre for the mundane, man big full of tall trailers and orders, and with the people for the typically what I love to see. An addict and mediocrity. Never thought you could be addicted to, for this would be the word you helped me to delete into the truth, and never called a good day, for this is your reading for them to this is weather night like this, listening to this is for the disembodied for the concrete post. Smashing with the towing steps. Just to feel grateful for the depression, for the peers of isolation, contemplate whether your lost years and have this. And I thank you for thanking for gentle embracing your finding malice, of course. This is nice for the hunter punching, something talking more than hold on under find control the music, but you have the nature for the plot, the honeycomb, and this is round attack. For your launch room in certain sounds, the seashells tell how loud but clear for the people to let them burn their right cycles and hate. And the heart will never wait. And the mistake for Mr. Fake didn't truly you are, for you know you listen, wish for content. But the wishes for you business, this is incontentment, this is misunderstood, and just should you rethink. And the summer evening of the haiku, to the long sounds, the entering of the ears, to the whispering of the wave. Maybe next time, if the pain gotten to you first, if this is what it be, would it be putting you first with the brand, but the bag for her, for they didn't mean to be like that. Just to sit here, say the word for the pretending there's no fear, and tired of sick and tired of brain being in survival mode, the higher the war, that this endless road is so exhausted, to punt upon a time. I'll leave that to you for the stretch, feel your height, for the bath, and the loss and loss, and listen to the grand a day for the those that are done, for the nothing, for the research, and for the time, and some cardiac arrest, and ultimately took evangelistic ways of your shadows, with your peers, a time, the precious enough to be bleeding to the crack, and most definitely need to stop. And if you bust up, then beyond the moment to moment, beyond this nigga over the dawn, then you from be gone, began, memory lives on. For the tragedy of the flames and shame, to conquer all your tyranny for conspiracy, for the boils in your part of shame. Shorter the summer for who's to blame the victories of the wearing shorts.